0 subscribers. Is that a problem? Probably not. Not really. I mean, from my point of view, it's not a problem at all. Anyway, my name is Richard Colton and welcome to this channel, and I'm here with my immediate supervisor, Abby, who is, not asleep today. Right, so we'll get going. So, I'm just recording this for a sort of personal record of where I've been. I didn't intend to do this outside, but this is where I'm doing this, and I don't have a securing selfie stick, so we're going to bounce around a lot, I think. Anyway, oh, I've stopped. Abby has important business to conduct. Yeah, so it depends on how you look at it as far as 0 subscribers goes. I mean, I've got 153 views, or I had 153 views, about 1.6 hours of view time. By the way, we're outside, like I said, I didn't intend to do that. This is misty West Yorkshire, or misty, Calderdale even, if you like, so there's not a great deal to see. Hang on, tangled in the dogweed. Right, swivel back. Right, so chances are you would think, well, are you doing well? But as a new person, I mean, I tried to start my channel on the 20th of December 2025, and it's now the 19th of January 2026. That's not long. So straight off, if you're looking for an advice video, then don't subscribe here, because this is not an advice video. This is partly a recording of where I am, and a few musings, but certainly no advice. After a month, I think I'd be a bit overkill to start saying, well, I can give advice. No. But if you are just starting and you're thinking, well, should I start? A lot of people say yes, and I say yes. But as for the statistics that come up, you're going to see. I mean, you think, oh, what are they telling you? And that's the point. What are they telling you? Without a lot of information, and even it says there isn't enough information to judge. What are you going to do with all that information? Well, it's not really there. So you're not going to be able to do much with it, and it would be easy to fall into the trap of believing you are failing in your new channel, because although it'll say 999% up, it's based on what? Nothing really, until you've gone past about 28 days, and then, as it is for me now, it's dropping, should I say. And I haven't posted much, so I can't expect a great deal. But let me just put into context. Most of my early videos, I say early videos, would be the most recent videos. I mean, if you're watching this a long while from now, then they would be very early videos. Most of those are not well done. I just made some. And the two main ones, and possibly the next one, are going to be on subjects that are not going to be very rarely, or very regularly, sorry, they're going to be very rarely searched. So 153 views and nearly over an hour and a half of viewing is going to be pretty good. Now, I left by the way, if you are looking for advice, and I should have put this much earlier, then you want to look at, there are some other channels. There is Rob the Maritimer, who has also suggested some people that he follows. Sorry about that, keep stopping because of dog. She's busy conducting her own business. I'm doing one thing, she's doing another, and that's not necessarily gelling into one thing. And then there's the New Creator Club. I believe his name is Naz, but I could be wrong on that one. We'll also give some people he thinks are good, giving good advice. And then there is old Mike. I think his channel's called Old Me Living Better. I will put these things underneath. Not about links, but I'll certainly put the names underneath. It was 80, and his channel's doing very well. Then there is Kevin Kolbe, who gives some other advice on various bits and bats to do with it, and that's Kolbe. Or if you're watching this without sound, it's probably decided to put it as Kolbe, Colby, and I have no idea what else it's misdoing. But anyway, yeah. So you know you're getting your channel going. You think everything's going all right, or I do think everything's going all right. So those are channels I would suggest you go and at least have a look at. We'll have to investigate. I'm afraid not everybody values the countryside. What can you do? So anyway, yeah, I would recommend those channels. So when you're new and you're seeing all this information, you're going to see all these statistics or whatever they are, all these readouts, but until you know what they all mean, and until you've looked up what they mean, until you've got some information in there, they could well be misreading. In fact, I'd have to comment, and I believe it was on Rob the Maritimer's channel, and as I said, I've got only half, my videos are only half viewed, doesn't bother me. But that's not true, and anybody reading that might reach the conclusion that, well, the videos are only being half viewed. And somebody else mentioned cooking channels. Well, if you're doing a cooking channel and you've got a recipe on there, you're going to go ahead and say, well, if I'm only being half viewed, nobody can have made the recipe. Well, you can't make a recipe from half a view. Obviously, people could be clicking on and off if one of those people gets flustered and knocks it off, or they could be doing it in stages and coming back to it. But that aside, you go and say, oh, well, my channel needs full views. I'm failing. Well, no, it's actually the average. So therefore, people could be deciding they don't want to make that particular recipe, or not at this time, and then clicking off, and other people are watching it full. So some of my videos will have been watched full. I know for a fact some of them have, because on the early few, I watched them myself, see how they looked. So I know for well they've been watched full way through. In fact, I have one on there. The best one has got 90% viewing, and me and my brother were having a laugh because it's only 5 seconds long. So we come to the conclusion people are just not quick enough to click it off before it gets to the end, which is, yeah. And as for starting out, well, speaking of my brother, he showed me a channel, Kentucky Ballistics, and he was doing some wooden bullets. That's not the main point here, or whether you're interested in guns, but now his channel, Scott, is very successful. Very successful. But when you go back to his earliest videos, and I did go back to his first video, it's a faceless one. You just see his hands, and then it's very downbeat in comparison, and because you've got to remember, everybody has started this from scratch. And if we go back to the beginning, while we're on about advice, who gave advice to the very first people on YouTube? There wouldn't be anybody. There is always going to be basic accepted advice, simple advice that is universal, that you would expect, but who gave them advice? So if you're thinking, well, my channel is completely and utterly not fitting in, there'll be somebody who wants to do that, breaking the rules. What rules? There are rules on the site, but I mean, what rules as regards other things? Yeah, I'm just thinking of those channels. I bet they weren't expecting their names to be mentioned on a misty day in West Yorkshire on the outskirts of North Arham. And if you don't tell them, they won't know. And if you wonder where North Arham is, it's near Halifax. And I think we've got a car coming, so I'll spell that while this car passes. Coming to one side. Northowram. I've got to spell that right. Northowram. Anyway, North Arham, or Northowram if you want to be. It's got a no in it, but local pronunciations. So anyway, yeah. So that's where I am at, sort of a month in. And technology, like I say, it's not advice, it's just musings. You get a lot of people, starting a new channel. We'll start with technology. I know, you know, people using their iPhone, this, and their DSLR, that, or at least mentioning them. Now, if you're like me, you can't even afford the mirrorless mirror. Never mind the actual camera. And as for the phones, yeah. So, but if you're thinking, well, I haven't got the right technology, I'm filming this, and I'm using the wrong side of it, effectively, the selfie camera, so I can see what I'm doing, which is not good on this one. Getting to the point, this is an iPhone 5S, which is pretty much an antique, and probably not a collector's antique either. And I have done a video on a Panasonic TZ8, very reliable camera, but again, old. So, you know, so as long as your technology works, even if you're watching this in 2030, if your technology, as old as it may be, will do what you want it to do, then use it. You can always improve later. Started a new channel. There's a lot of channels that will claim you can do, oh, I got monetized in 3 weeks, 3 days. I got 1,000 subscribers in no time at all. And some of them have, don't get me wrong, there's some genuine channels that have been very lucky. There's other ones, like, and I don't really look at many of these, but I did look at one, and it went, oh yes, our new channel, you know, ooh, we've gone and done so many subscribers in so long or whatever, and within about a few seconds. And on our other channel, when we have several thousand subscribers, and you think, oh yeah, so those people didn't come across then. Or even, you didn't even sign your own channel up to make sure there was 0. And even then, like I say, they would have started at some point, but they aren't starting again now. They haven't started from scratch. I mean, if you're watching this, you're probably like me, either just about to start, just started, or, you know, very new to it, without all the millions of subscribers and millions of views, or whatever it is, or thousands of hours. Possibly not even with much of a chance of ever achieving that. Who knows? You know, and that's a future thing, and that's down to other people, you know, the viewers. But yeah, if that's you, then persevere with it. I did Flickr, which is photos, so it got a bit too costly, unfortunately, and that took me a long time to go. So from that point of view, you know, it took me a long time to get going, but it eventually did. So I expect this to take a while. Persevere. I mean, if you're running a business, of course, you want to get monetized. You want to get all this stuff in place, and so of course you want to watch people who give advice that is in your category. But then you also want to think for yourself as well. You want to go and make your channel unique. You don't want to follow their advice quite literally, unless it suits, because everything you do is not going to be suited to that sort of idea. You know, you're not going to. Their advice for one thing might not gel with what you want to do. So, sounds like advice, doesn't it? Ignore me. Anyway, you know, you just got to get going. So, and in case you're wondering where we're heading now, we're sort of heading now down into Shibden. Yeah, not Shibden Hall, which is a bit different, go a lot further down the valley, but the same valley. So if you're aware of Ann Lister, then yeah, that Shibden Valley. But we're up this end, not down that end. We're in North Arham, and Shibden Hall is technically in the area of South Arham. So equipment doesn't have to be the best. Your first videos don't have to be the best. In fact, the best video is going to be the one that you put out there that gets a chance of even being viewed and gives you that start. You've got to start somewhere. Like I say, if you look back at Scott and his videos on Kentucky ballistics, and you watch, I mean, there are other channels, obviously, but you watch one of the most recent ones, or part of one, and then you go and look at the first one. Very different, and That's because, of course, he started out, he stuck with it, and I would say, from what I can tell, he is very successful on his channel. We're conducting serious business down here. Very serious business. Maybe Abby should start her own channel, advising you on you know, what to look for when you come down Shibdin. So you might be going to say, well, you're happy, you're alright, you accept that your channel is not necessarily likely to do great and all's wonderful. Well, no, I do have my moments when I think as well, like everybody else, why am I bothering, why am I doing this? But then I have to remember, like I say, it's not likely that anyone's going to sit through it. My videos, although I say the niche in that sense, and they're not likely to be much of a market as such. I do know people are asking for that information in various places, and being more related to family history, the chances are they're not going to sit through the entire thing. Once they get the information they want, understandably, they're going to go and move on. I mean, that's the problem with family history. It expands and goes on and on and on and on and on. You've got to focus somewhere, otherwise you just go in millions of directions. But yeah, I have my moments when I think, why on earth am I doing this? Why am I bothering? And everything doesn't go right. This camera, this phone that I'm using now, this video is being made on the 19th. There's a tunnel there. Just as a thing, while we're here, nah, not that it's got to do with anything, but that goes under a spoil heap from one of the nearby quarries at Bearhead. And to avoid blocking the path, they built a very big wall and merely left the footpath underneath it. So anyway, yeah, things go wrong. This phone, as I was saying, it decided, and I recorded the whole thing at home, and because this camera is a bit dodgy these days, this phone, it's very temperamental, it plays up. It had actually switched, done something I can't do. I can't switch mode that I know of between one thing and another and switch from normal recording to slow-mo. Now I don't know how to undo the slow-mo, so I had to scrap the entire thing. And that's after doing all of it, or struggling my way through it, as I'm still struggling my way through it. And yeah, so yeah, things go wrong. I do feel sometimes a bit, why am I? And I certainly wasn't expecting to do a video down near Shibdin. I was going to do this at home, but for various reasons it didn't prove thingy, so yeah. Scott the Maritimer, what am I talking about? Rob the Maritimer, when I get my names correct. Seems to do a lot of these sort of videos. That's not why I'm doing this video, but I did think that if all else fails, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down there. I'm going to go for a walk and do it there if I can't do it anywhere else. It's a misty day, cold day, so hopefully not so many people about, and there don't seem to be. So we're now down in Shibdin. In fact, you can just see on the hillside behind me there, that big wall, that's another retaining wall for yet another spoil heap from Bearhead Quarry. Bearhead Quarry is redundant, but it's no longer in use. Maybe that's something I could visit later on. I mean, I'm not down here to go and discuss the Shibdin Valley because, quite frankly, you really can't see any of it, hardly. You can hardly see me then. But, you know, yeah, like I said, it's musings, not advice. So if you're planning on starting a YouTube channel, try it. But don't get all et up with the statistics or readouts or analytics. That's the word I'm looking for. The analytics. They won't tell you anything until there's plenty of it, and they really won't tell you anything until you find someone to explain what it is you're actually looking at. And I mean, if you don't know what you're looking at, and you don't know what it is it's telling you, then you can misunderstand it. I mean, mine's dropping now because, of course, I haven't done anything for a while. Although I've had a few views, but I haven't done anything for a while. And of course, as it moves on, it appears that the views you had before, after dropping off, and then the next 28-day period is taking over. So the numbers are dropping, and that's fair enough. Oh, we're off again. And that's probably as it should be. But it could be very, very, very discouraging. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how and if this channel develops. When exactly you get the first subscriber, if ever. I mean, that's the thing. Is it a disaster to have no subscribers? Well, as long as the people watching your channel get something from it, and if you're not so concerned about definitely and absolutely making your fortune, then it probably really doesn't matter at all. If you are wanting to make some money and get your channel sorted for business purposes or whatever, then of course, yes, it's going to be much more serious if you have no subscribers. But work at it. That's the main thing. Work at it. Your first videos, if you're lucky, I mean, everyone says there'll be a disaster. Is it true? Again, it depends. Everybody varies. Every time somebody says that your first video is going to be a disaster, that some of it's personal. You look back and you think, oh, I could have done that better because you've improved. But some of them could be quite feasibly not bad at all. It's just development. I mean, I need to develop things. I've only done one with what you call a thumbnail so far, but I'm working on it. So then there's other things I need to improve, and probably the equipment needs a bit of improving. Presentation needs a bit of moving. Talking to the camera needs improving. But work on these things over time and get there. But yeah, this if anybody gets out from this video, it's more, or anything from this video. Doing a bit of Yorkshire there, haven't we? Don't know what I'm working at here. Yep. Seriously though, if anybody gets anything from this, it will be that this is, I am new to this, so I am not advising. I am just saying this is where I am in my journey and how things are going for me. Not necessarily, yes, everybody's journey is going to be the same. But it can be a little bit when you find somebody giving advice and they're about as good as they are. Of course, later down the line, when they've already got 1,000 subscribers, they've already got dollars, as they talk about, but pounds or whatever coming in, and they've already got thousands of views or whatever it is that they've got, you can feel a little bit, well, it's all right for you. I mean, I don't know whether I'm ever going to see any of that. But who knows? Who knows? Anyway, like I say, my name is Richard Colton, and if you are about to start your channel, and if you really want to do it, then do it. Then I wish you a lot of luck, and who knows, maybe one day I'll be looking at your channel trying to find something out to try and progress forward, especially if you do better at it than I am and overtake me, which is feasible. It is actually feasible. I could be looking at your channel, looking at your musings and picking up advice, but only if you actually start one. See you then.